going on? RGIJ is back, baby.
Well, even going back to it, like, you know, like, let's say you do go on 15 interviews, like, and it's like, okay, I'm not getting hired. Okay, why? Okay, it's like, you know, let's say, okay, let's say I'm going for jobs or something like that, and I don't get hired. Let's go, okay, why am I not getting hired? Do I just suck at interviews? Okay, cool. What can I do to get? I mean, like, it's that simple. Like, seriously, it could be like, or it's like most of the time, what is it? Okay, maybe I'm not good at my resume. How, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of times, like, we want to do everything ourselves, and it's like, you know, if you go to Upwork right now, you can hire somebody from another country to do your resume for you, and they do really well because a lot of companies hire them too. So, you know what I mean? And they're like 60, maybe $100 for a resume. You know what I mean? Like, at some point you're getting a professional. I think at some point we try to, like, you know, like when we're going for jobs or something like that, we're like interviewing, we're doing this. And it's like, dude, why don't you look to someone who's a professional? Because if you're a professional at your thing and someone's trying to, you'd be like, hey, here's, it's easy, man. For them, it's right. So I think sometimes we look at the job market and we're like, oh, we're doing this. And it's like, okay, man, all right. Where do you think you might be suffering at, and then tackle that down, right? So if you're not getting interviews, your resume probably sucks. If you're getting to the resume, if you're getting past the resume, you're submitting that, you're getting calls, and you're getting interviews, and then you're not getting the final offer, you might suck at your interview skills. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like there's certain things that you can do where you sit there and say, okay, good, man, I might suck at this, but if I do enough practice, if I get other people involved with this, man, I might be able to actually get a job. And you know, I mean, I think that's a problem. Like, now is most people, we expect to get hired, especially now when you're like, oh, they need these people. Yeah, they need these people, but they're like, you know what I mean? Most people with jobs, you got to run it through the scans. So if you're not even passing the scans, they're not even going to like call you because you didn't meet the scan. You could be a great person. They just don't know it yet. So it's like one of those ones, man. It's like, okay, man, go on Upwork, go on LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many different ways you can hustle this, that you can pay someone a resume and they have like guarantee things like, okay, I have a 90%, you know, higher rate or whatever. And that's what I did when I was in Japan and I was coming to the States. I had someone write my resume because I would just write resumes and nothing would ever happen. I hit it, and next thing you know, every resume I had was always getting hit. Okay, cool. And then we started getting to a point where we're getting to interviews. Okay, good. And then I went and get an offer. And it's like, okay, cool. Then it looks like I'm having issues with this portion of the interview. Okay, cool. What do I need to work on? And, you know, even talking to a friend, I had a friend who was doing this, and it's like, hey, man, he's younger than me. I knew when he was like young military, but he did something I couldn't do. So I called him. Hey, so what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm doing this. Okay, cool. And it's like being humbled enough. You know, again, I'm very confident in myself, but still sitting there saying, okay, I can humble myself. So I say, what are you doing that I'm not doing? I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. You might be younger than me. I might have way more experience than you, but you did something I was able to do. So please let me, like, I want to learn. And if you come to people like that, they'll be like, oh, I did this, I did that. And you're like, that's what it was. I was missing a couple of different things, man. Thanks. That helped me out. And then pass that forward to other people as well.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I was grateful for the whole TAPS and everything because, I mean, I wish I could have took advantage of it more, but people who did take advantage of like the internships and stuff like that, it really helped them to bridge that transition to see what the civilian sector is looking for in people. You know, they used to do job fairs too, because one of the funniest things to me was I would be at these little, you know, job fair sessions and they will have representatives come and talk about their companies and this and that. And you hear these 06s, 05s, you know, come up and it's like, yeah, being that I have this much experience and, you know, I was the commander of thousands of soldiers and airmen or whatever the case would be. He was like, where would I start? And the civilian company would be like, you start at the bottom, bro. Like, you think just because you were a retired colonel that you're just going to come up to my company and you're going to be like VP, CEO or something? Like, it doesn't work that way. And that's why I was grateful, because a lot of people tend to think like, oh, I'm getting out of the military as a bioenvironmental or something like that. I'm getting out. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to be guaranteed because I got these certifications or whatever. Guess what? Sometimes it isn't that way. Your military experience at times ain't going to get you what that company is needing. You know what I'm saying? So, because they'll look at certain things, and if you didn't do it, because remember, we were only doing military view. Like, that was, everything was just federal, yes, but it was just military. It wasn't dealing with state, wasn't dealing with local counties or anything like that. So now, when you're trying to transition into that, you really don't have that much experience, because when they tell you what's your experience, oh, Air Force, bioenvironmental. Okay, but that's way different from what we be dealing here with the different counties, the townships, the state government, dealing with the governor, all this other stuff. Like, where's your experience in that? So my buddy, he was a retired intelligence analyst. He's now doing emergency management for the state of Texas, but he's doing different sections in there. Like, I think he's doing mitigation now, something like that. But it took him a long time because, again, even with that military experience, and he was like, yeah, I dealt with this, that, intel, this. The state jobs or the city jobs were like, okay, but that compares to nothing that we're doing here within the state of Texas, within the county of Dallas or wherever. It doesn't pertain to that, because all you were doing was just Air Force stuff. That's nothing compared to here. So he landed it, but it took him a while. Again, he hired somebody to do his resume, because that's the other problem. The jargon, military jargon, they don't understand in the civilian sector. So you had to change that up. But there are so many tons of resources out there. And, it's the people just need to go and go after it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful I have people that I could talk to that are working, to ask them like, hey, can you look at my resume? Or, what company can I go through to maybe write my resume? Or even talk to my buddy who has the EM job in Texas, like, hey, what process did you do to get hired? Like, who'd you go through and stuff like that? I'm always asking questions, even though I'm not in the workforce, but, I'm slowly just putting all of that stuff in my toolbox to be okay, because graduation is going to be coming up real soon, and you're going to have to make the transition sometime. So it's like, let me start putting that in my toolbox so that way I can start getting ready to be like, okay, let me call this person because he did the resume through this company and it worked out for him. All right, let me talk to this person, see, hey, when you did interviews, how did it go? What did they ask? Whatever the case may be, help me with that. But there's tons of things out there for people to do. Is just whether they take advantage of it or not. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm good with just staying home. I think I'm good when I get to post pictures of me at Cocoa Beach relaxing on a Wednesday while everybody's at work, and, some of them are like, oh, I don't want to be here. Some of them like, I can't stand my coworkers. Some of them are like, I hate my boss. And, Izzy's just in Cocoa Beach getting sunburned and, just having a good time while everybody else is doing their stuff. So you continue to wake up at 4:59, do your routine and everything else. And I will wake up around 8:30 so I could be at the beach by 9:30 and get a good spot and, set up my tent and my chairs and everything and have a nice view of the ocean and whatnot.
Yeah, but it actually, like, I'm cool with you doing that. Like, there's some people that are like, man, that makes me upset. Right. Like, how dare Izzy? I'm like, that's cool, man. Take that life. I'm good. I don't want that. Like, to me, and it sounds weird, that life of like, I'm going to wake up at 8, try to go by the beach by 9 so I can get a good spot. I'm like, are you like that? To me is hell. That is like purgatory. Is like that. But it's not in line. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, to each his own. It's not in line with, and this is also thing. It's not in line with the goals I have. It's not in line with the vision. Right. It's not in line with the dream I have. It's not actually. This brings up a good point. I want to get your discussion on this one, or your point, or your opinion on this one. Talking to my wife about this. So what it is I'll say what it is, and then I'll say about what I had the conversation with my wife. How about that? So what it is listen to like Ed Milet. He's like a business motivation person, salesperson, motivation and stuff like that, right? And one of his videos, he's talking about the idea that what he used to do, before he became a millionaire and stuff like that, what he would do is every so often, if he had a good like quarter of selling stuff, he would take him and his wife to like, a resort, and he would play golf. She would get her nails done, and he would just try to touch that dream for a couple hours a day, or at least once, like every quarter he did a really good job. Okay, I'm going to go touch my dream, is like being able to go to the golf course, being able to be like, hey, how you doing, sir? Like, the whole valet, the whole 9 yards of like, this is what I want my life to live or be like. And I'm going to go touch a small portion of it. Right. And Steve Harvey will even say the same thing of like, man, take a first class trip. You'll never want to go back again. Like, if you have to go back to be in first class, you'll be upset the entire time because you'll never want to not be in first class. And so what I was telling my wife is like, hey man, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna start saving up, and at least once a month, maybe once a quarter, whatever fuck we got to do, I want to go somewhere like that. I want to go to a nice restaurant. If it's $300-$400, I don't care. Like, I want to go take the valet. I want to sit there. Hey, how you doing, sir? Here's my ticket. Even if we don't need to, that's the point. Like, I don't care. We need to, but go there, have a good time, tip like an amazing person, have a nice drink, have have everything we want. If I told her we need to go to a resort here in town, go stay in the president's suite. Like, hey, can we just do this for one night? Can we just go stay somewhere, maybe Airbnb, $400 a night, but we just live that kind of like, oh, we're in a mansion. Okay, cool. This is what it feels like. That type of shit. And that's what we're talking about. Like, this is it. Like, I've gotten to the point now where, man, I've been hustling and bustling, right? Like, I've been working my ass off. And now I'm getting to that part where, okay, I have a nice rhythm and a nice momentum behind me. Now, instead of just putting my head down and grinding, now we're looking ahead and sitting there saying, I want to feel what it feels like. I want to touch it. I want to know, okay, hey man, when you go into this hotel, man, they treat you like this. When you go do this, what it's like to go get a valet, what it's like to do these things. And so that's what we're doing, and we're going to save for it. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely do it, man. I know people who grind and hustle all the time, save all this money and never splurge. I'm a big proponent. If you're making bread, if you're making that money, take some time for yourself too, because we said it before, tomorrow is not guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to spend 30 years, cutting carpet, making this, doing that, or whatever the case would be, and all you're doing is putting the money under your mattress, what are you going to show for it? Okay, yeah, you got tons of money, but what have you done with it? Where's the pleasure in it? You know what I'm saying? So if you are able to make money and then be able to go out and venture out like that, because to me, I feel like that's everybody's mindset, that they would like to live like that. How many people are tired of seeing that shit within their celebrities that they like or they follow? Why not do it yourself? No. If you have the money to invest where you could go to a nice resort, have a limo come pick you up. One of my biggest things, honestly, is I would like one day to be able to just spend money on a private jet. Take me, my brother, my sister, whatever, some friends. We go on a private jet and just go somewhere and just be able to say that I did that. You know what I'm saying? Because I see all these celebrities on there on these private jets, got their own, all for them. The cocktails, the flight attendants are all for them. Nobody there, just pee, and surrounded by that people they want to be to. Why can I not do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible. I could easily, start saving some money and everything else, and then be like, boom, let me do a private jet. Or why not be able to go on a vacation to where you're like, go all out? You know what I'm saying? Get the nice resort, just be treated like royalty. You know what I'm saying? Why not? If you're busting your ass, why not? I think it's a payoff from all the hustle and grind that you're doing. Because what you're going to do, you're going to sit at home, 60, 70 years old, making all this money and just been sitting there? I don't think it's worth it, man. I definitely think you should definitely splurge it. Showcase your hard work and everything else. And if that means that is you taking a trip to the Maldives and spending it on a $5,000 resort, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? How many times people have gone to Vegas and like, yeah, how much is the suite? And the suites are like $5,000 per night. Everybody's doing regular rooms. I would like to be in a suite, $5,000 per night in Vegas, and just be able to just chill and whatnot. That'd be nice.
Well, what I'm saying though is, I'm not saying like, hey, I want to do it for once in a lifetime. What I'm saying is, this is the life I'm going to have.
Continuously.
Like, there is right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is no like, hey, I would love to be like, no, in the next 10 to 20 years, this will be my life. Like, and that's again, the confidence, because what we were talking about earlier. But when I say that and say like, I want to know what it feels like, is because I'm going to be there. Right. I just want to touch the dream just a little bit closer each time. Like, okay, this is what it feels like. But that's what I'm saying. Like, beyond, I told my wife, like, I don't even want to be a millionaire. I want to be 100 millionaire person, whatever the fuck you call that thing. And she was like, she kind of looked at me and she was like, it's not enough for you. I was like, it's not enough, man. I want money. All I do is dream about money. Like, it's like, man, how much does it cost? What is the ROI? Like, I swear to God, dude, like, I'm a money person. It's like my language of love is money. Like, you want to show me you like me, pay me. You know what I mean? It's like one of the ones where someone's like, hey man, I did this for you. Like, I could do it myself. I'm good. And it does suck in a sense, because like, you're always about money, but that's what I'm always about, man. If you really notice, everything I'm always doing is like, even the conversation we have, it turns into money somehow. Somehow I'll bring up money. It'll bring up revenue. It'll bring up monetization. I'll always bring up the word money in a conversation because that's my heart.
It won't bother you the fact that you're making the money and now you're spending it on these lavish outings and everything else. That won't bother you, the fact that you're now spending money.
No, so the thing is, I don't want to have tons of money to just have tons of money. I want to have a great fucking life, and I want to help people. So there's that key part too. I want to have an amazing fucking life, and I also want to help people. Well, to have an amazing fucking life and to also help people, you need a lot of money. Yeah. It's just the reality of things, right? If someone's like, hey, I want to help the homeless, cool. You can go spend time at a soup kitchen, but you're really not doing nothing, honestly. But if you were to have $30 million, you can do something.
Absolutely.
Right. It's just, again, that's just the way the world works and it's how it is. And so that's why I'm sitting there saying, like, I want to have a great life, but that's why I say it's not just a millionaire, because a millionaire, that's not a lot of money. If you're a millionaire and you go stay in a hotel, you spend 30 or 40, 50 grand and on a weekend.
It's chump change.
That is something, because that's like almost a quarter of your, that's almost a quarter of your like portfolio or your net worth and that stuff. But if you're a 100 millionaire, you already getting that money back. Like, that type of concept is in there saying, I'm going out and I'm spending $20,000 on a vacation. We're having a great time. Why am I not worried about money? Because I have more than enough money.
So you wouldn't do it like now because you don't have the revenue to make up for that loss.
I don't have the money.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
I just don't have the money right now.
But it just won't be a continuous thing. It'll just be this one time we go and do a resort in fucking Aruba or something like that, and then, because trust me, I know you will see it and you're like, okay, how much are the drinks? How much is this? How much is that? All of this, and especially that you don't have revenue to compensate for those losses. I won't say losses, but the spending cost on all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
you really don't have that money, because if it costs 10 grand and you're putting on a credit card, you don't have that money. And if you have 10 grand to throw away, you better have $2 to $3 million in the fucking bank. You know what I mean? Like on stocks and investments and shit like that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have that. I'm not there yet.